Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Westlake High School here in West Austin for this 26-6A matchup between your Anderson Trojans and the Chaparrals of Westlake High School. Westlake, of course, the home team here. Thank you for tuning in to the broadcast. My name is Jack Farrell. I'll be joining you tonight. As per usual for this Trojan basketball contest, we are just under 4 minutes away from getting underway here as the Trojans enter at 1-1 in district play, as do the Westlake Chaparrals. Interestingly enough, if the season were to end today, both of these teams would be on the outside looking into the postseason, but fortunately for both of these teams, we still have plenty of basketball to play through the 23-24 season. This is the third to last game that we will have broadcasted for you on Vype. Anderson, I believe they have a tournament coming up after Christmas, around in that last week of the year between Christmas and New Year's Eve. But we have this game, and then on Friday, this is the gauntlet week for Anderson. They will play host, fortunately, to the Lake Travis Cavaliers. Only have to be on the road for one of those games. And then Anderson will wrap the 2023 broadcast season up on the 20th when they take on Del Valle. I believe that one is going to be on the road as well. But we are just under 3 minutes to go before we get underway here. Anderson JV able to make a close game, single digits down the stretch in the fourth quarter, but Westlake able to run away with it. A couple free throws and a made basket at the end of the game pushed it to a 12-point victory for Westlake. So Anderson going to do their best to avenge the fallen JV against this Westlake Chaps team. Last time the Trojans were in this gym, they actually didn't play Westlake. If you recall, at the end of the season last year, Anderson played a do-or-die winner-take-all for that fourth playoff spot in district against Dripping Springs. Trojans were able to win that one. That was a bit of a championship for the Trojans as they had to go up against the juggernaut of a Stony Point team last year. But last time they were in here, Anderson had some good shooting luck, had one of their best games of the season, so hopefully that will carry over for us here. As you can see, we are high up at Westlake High School. They have a nice little broadcast balcony for us. Feel like one of the big guys on one of the, well, we are on a four-letter network, aren't we? But not quite the one you may think of. But Trojans will have the whole squad back tonight. Had a couple players in street clothes these past few games, but they will be full strength here as Westlake heads over to their bench. Anderson will follow just shortly after. We will go ahead and send it down to the PA here momentarily for the national anthem as well as the announcements of our starting lineups. Westlake enters at 10-5 overall, Anderson at 4-13. So this Westlake team, they have some common opponents. And they lost to St. Michael's during the Anderson Classic in a very close game. Anderson had that early 8:30 game in which St. Michael's took care of them pretty handily. So we'll see what we have here tonight. We'll go ahead and send it down now. You're listening to Trojan Basketball on Vype.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Eanes ISD welcomes you to Albany Court for tonight's 26-6A basketball matchup between the Anderson Trojans and your Westlake Chaparrals. At this time, will you please rise and please remove your hats as we honor the United States of America with the performance of our national anthem. We are honored to have Westlake sophomore choir member Casey Yee here to perform the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the introduction of tonight's starting lineups. First of the Trojans of Anderson High School. Starting at guard, a 5'10" sophomore, number 1, Luke McReynolds. Starting at guard, a 6' sophomore, number 5, Noah Perkins. Starting at forward, a 6'2" senior, number 10, Caden Williford. Starting at guard, a 6'2" senior, number 4, Jackson Gill. Starting at forward, a 6'5" senior, number 21, Campbell Duncan. Assistant coaches for the Trojans are Michael Stratton, Joe Chavez, Brendan Hartoon, and Bo Williams. The head coach is Eric Swanson. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Westlake Chaparrals. Starting at guard, a 6' senior, number 1, Gavin Paul. Starting at guard, a 6'4" senior, number 22, Max Urashakaman. Starting at guard, a 6' senior, number 23, Donovan Lee. Starting at forward, a 6'7" junior, number 24, Jack Cedar. Starting at forward, a 6'6" senior, number 35, Wonder Kahosi. Assistant coaches for the Chaparrals are John Pavacchio, Gary Gonzalez, Alex Bucky, and Evan Fabulous. The head coach is Ryan Lucero.
All right. 8 minutes up on the clock. Duncan and Kahosi in the center circle to jump this thing off, or to tip this thing off, I should say. Let's use the right terminology, why don't we? And another duel between the Trojans and the Chaparrals starts now with a ball batted into the backcourt by Wonder Kahosi, a guy who every time I feel like I've watched him play has added a new facet to his game, gets a little more comfortable out there on the court. Now a senior, now has to be one of the leaders on this team. Now looking for Cedars inside on the short corner with Jackson Gill defending. He's going to back in, little jump hook, kiss off the glass is good. So Westlake strikes first. It's Jack Cedars, 2 points off the glass. 2-0 in the early going. As not a great start for the Trojans Gill and Duncan not on the same page, and the Chaparral is going to take possession. It's Gavin Paul coming the other way. They'll lob it inside to Cedars. Campbell Duncan's going to block that, take it away, and we will have a jump ball, but that will be Trojan basketball as they did lose the opening tip-off. Here's Perkins. Strong offensive output for Noah Perkins. 11 points in that win over Aikens, as Caden Williford also back into the starting lineup for the Trojans after missing the last few games. There's McReynolds. Perkins going to the right. He's off the Gill. McReynolds going to drive in on the lead, tried to kick to the corner, and it's going to be taken away. Shaps in the passing lanes. As here's Paul, the lob to Cahosi. Showtime! It's a talented Westlake team. They lead at 4-0. Not the juggernaut they may have been in the past, but playing some excellent competition. You usually don't see Westlake with 5 losses, maybe in a whole season. They already have 5. It's December. That may speak to the level of competition growing up around them as they lead 4-0 here. Campbell Duncan driving inside. He's trapped on the baseline. Gets it off to Williford. One dribble. Shot's no good, but good look at the basket there for the Trojans. It's 4-0 with Westlake the other way. Paul driving in, kicks inside to Cedars. Cedars open, no good. Going to get his own rebound over Gill. Kiss off the glass and in. Jack Cedars, 2 buckets. He has 4. McReynolds with lead defending. Crosses over, screen from Williford. And this pass intercepted. Not great position there for Campbell Duncan. Cahosi there to knock it away. And here's Paul. Corner. Now up top for Cahosi. Paul thought about the 3, decided against it. Now he'll drive to the left side, get to the block, fade off the glass, and good. It's a clinic so far for Westlake as they already lead at 8-0, and Anderson, with 2.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter, going to burn their first timeout. Possession arrow favoring Westlake. It will be a 30-second timeout for the Trojans. As Trojans are a team that does tend to start slow. Westlake a tough team to do that against. Trojans with some substitutions. Mearswa into the game along with Schaefer. That means Perkins and Gill to the bench. Duncan to inbound. Got the black accessories. Don't see Campbell in the undershirt too often. Black leg sleeves, black undershirt, black shoes. As here's Schaefer, lost the ball against Lee a little bit. Going to be able to get across court. McReynolds. Now Owen. Off to Caden. Looking inside for Campbell Duncan, not there. Good decision. McReynolds all the way to the basket. Dish off to Campbell Duncan. Nice play by the young guard to get it into his big and draw the foul. First team foul of the game goes against Westlake. McReynolds finds Schaefer through his hands. Now pass ahead. Here's Cahosi on the other end, right at Williford to the basket. That's 4 in the game for Cahosi. Now Campbell Duncan puts it on the floor, and he loses it out of bounds. Just sloppiness early from the Trojans. Definitely something you can't have against this Westlake team, as it's already 10-0. We've only had 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Lee bringing the ball up, kick to the corner. Wide open look, no good. Cedars there on the glass, going to get it not to go, but he'll get another shot at it. Little step to the free throw line for 2. Both good. It's now 12-0. Campbell Duncan up ahead. Off to Williford. Caden into the paint, going to get all the way to the basket. Tough look is good. And Anderson finally has the seal off the basket. It's 2 points for Caden Williford. And now up and sprinting the other way is Lee. He'll kick it back out to Paul. Now inside to Cedars. Skip to Lee. Up top for Paul. He'll try the three-pointer. That's going to be no good. Rebound batted away by Westlake, and it'll go out of bounds. Anderson takes possession. Now here's McReynolds inside Mearswa. The shot no good. Rebound batted around. Westlake now has it. Halfway through the first quarter. It's been going by pretty quickly as here's Paul. Paul off to the left side. Going to go at Campbell Duncan. Pulls back. Westlake resets. Getting into a little more half-court offense. Doubles coming on Cahosi. Mearswa backs off. Now going to have to go up at him. And instead, Cahosi going to go down hard. He'll head to the line for 2 free throws here. Andrew Canati off the bench for Westlake, the first sub for them. Perkins and Gill getting ready to check back in. Williford and Schaefer to the bench. Cahosi just 1 for 2 at the line there. He's got 5, now 13-2. Here's Gill. Up ahead off to McReynolds. Corner for Gill. Jackson driving baseline. Campbell Duncan going to try the corner triple. He knocks it down. So Campbell Duncan extends his range beyond the arc in the corner there. 13-5 now. The second Trojan bucket comes with just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cahosi finding Paul backdoor. Gill with the chase down block. Paul inbound. Just a lob into Cahosi. Paul with it. Working on Campbell Duncan. And they'll lob it inside to Cahosi. He's got McReynolds on him. Cahosi is going to go to work. Dish inside for Purushothaman. Now Paul. Now back out. Purushothaman working on Campbell Duncan in the air. Good D from Campbell, but better shot making for Max P. Makes it 15-5, back to a 10-point lead for the Shaps. Here's McReynolds. He's working on Hunter Davis. Got to get rid of it. Now here's Mearswa, and you're going to go ahead and get Hunter Davis on the foul there. Getting ready to check in is Luke Butler, the junior guard. Paul gets it into Mearswa. That's McReynolds. Wrong number 1. There's Gill. He'll fire from the wing, and he will connect. Jackson Gill's got his first bucket of the game. Anderson shooting pretty well from the outside here in the first quarter, all things considered. That's their second 3 of the ball game. It's just 15-8 now, under 2 minutes to play here in quarter number 1. There's Butler. Off to Davis. Cedars getting ready to check back in. Now there's Gavin Paul. Senior point guard. Seen plenty of him over these past few seasons here. As Adrian Pop's getting ready to check in for your Trojans. Here's Cahosi. Back out for Paul. Mearswood defending. Paul stuck by Perkins. Now back outside. It's Canati. 15-8 is your score. Cahosi working on Campbell Duncan, and that is going to be an offensive foul. Campbell doing a good job staying in front. Cahosi forced to push off, and and that'll be a turnover for the Chaparrals. Both teams with, well, now Westlake with 3 team fouls, Anderson with 2. Beat the score to it. Minute to go. Gill goes behind the back. Gill on the right wing. Stuck without a dribble off to Mirzwa. Soul going to put it on the floor. Off to Pops. Now here's Campbell Duncan. Hit a 3 earlier. Him and Gill both have 1 basket each. It's a 3-pointer. Got to get rid of the ball there. Now Gill driving in. He'll pull up. It's blocked by Davis. And under 40 seconds to go, Westlake pushing the pace. Here's Paul, takes it all the way to the cup, gets it to rattle in offhand. On the left side, switch to his right in midair. Makes it 17-8. And after trailing 10-0, it's now 17-8. 15 seconds left in the quarter. Gill resets the 5 with the dribble, and that's going to be a foul on the wing. Coach Lucero not happy for Westlake. There's 11 seconds left. That's the last team foul the Chaps had to give. Now 17-8. Gill on the inbound. Lost McReynolds off to Campbell Duncan. Campbell going to put it on the floor all the way to the basket, and this is going to be a foul against Westlake. 2 free throws coming for Campbell Duncan. This does mean Westlake will have one more look at the basket with 5.5 seconds to go. And Trojans shooting foul anyway, but now into the bonus. Drew Donahue ready to check in. Smooth on the first for Duncan. Campbell leaves that one short. This is going to go out of bounds. That looked like off Westlake to me, but no, they're going to go ahead and call it off of the Trojans. An arm got in there. Miles Rickards into the game now. 2 seconds here. Half court heave. No good. And that's how the first frame of action ends. 17-9. Westlake with the lead. Anderson got themselves into a big hole early as they trailed it 10-0, but finished the quarter on a 9-7 run, but that does have them trailing by 8. I want to thank you for tuning into the broadcast. I want to thank our sponsors on the broadcast. You see them up there in the top right corner, the trial attorneys at Howery, Breen, and Herman. With that, we're going to go ahead and step aside. Quarter number 2 coming up. You're watching Anderson basketball on Vype. Back in for quarter number 2. White ball. That's frickin' Schmidt in off the bench. I'm going to try and say that as much as I can. There's Lee, gets it into Cedars with Williford defending. Caden trying to stay in front. Can't, but the shot's no good. It'll go out of bounds off of Westlake. 17 seconds gone. Trojans get the ball back. So here's Gill. Over Campbell Duncan on the wing. Campbell going to drive in on Cahosi. Cahosi shutting him down and travel. Still 17-9. Once again, there is Powell Frickenschmidt, the freshman, running the bench unit here. And there he is on the baseline, Frickenschmidt off to Cahosi, and Wonder Cahosi. As I'm speaking to you in the English language, here's Jackson Gill bringing the ball up for Anderson. Off to McReynolds. Luke off to Gill. Jackson kicks to the corner for Williford. Caden going to put it on the floor, pulls it back outside to Perkins. Now Williford skipping cross court. Williford puts it on the deck. Now Campbell Duncan rises and can't kiss it off the glass. Everything but the bottom of the net there. Frickenschmidt looking for Cahosi again. Wonder Cahosi backing in Williford. Tries to go cross court. Jackson Gill able to slap it out of bounds. Williford there trying to draw the charge, but to no avail. Here's Cahosi going right at Gill, strong to the basket, and he'll head to the line for two. And he has just improved year after year. Touched on that at the beginning of the game. Short there. Both of them short, but from the offensive end of the court, Cahosi is a much different player than he was just a couple of seasons ago. Gill nearly loses it. Anderson going to go ahead and call a timeout before that backcourt violation. But Cahosi was, I remember a few games a couple of years ago where Anderson just couldn't keep him off the offensive glass at all. Just, they would be able to get a miss. Cahosi would go up and grab it. Would miss the follow, get the follow, miss the follow, get the follow again, and then that back and forth until the ball finally found the basket. Now you've seen throughout this game they're looking for him in the post. He's got good footwork, got a good nose for the ball, got a good eye for the basket. This is another success story for this Westlake team. And of course, I mean, we saw that transition lob. That's always been there for him, but now really being able to put everything together. Now a senior standing at 6'5". Campbell Duncan gets this one into Jackson Gill, and we are back underway with 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. There's Rickards. Now off to Campbell Duncan, going to go right at Cahosi. Turn around, Jay is good. Nice move in the post for Campbell Duncan. He's got 6. He has a 3, 1 out of 2 on the free throw line, and then that one there is here's Cahosi dive into the basket. I think they're going to get Campbell on the hold. It does appear to be that way. Been a good duel between those two so far. Cahosi has 7, Duncan has 6. Cedars also has 6. He's had some nice moves in the post for Westlake here. Here's Cahosi. Paul going to try the 3. No good, left it all the way short. Max P can't get it. Cedars on the follow, no good. Cahosi there on the rebound looking for Cedars. He finds him in a layup. So Westlake beating Anderson on the glass here. We saw, like I mentioned before, Cahosi was one of the culprits there, him and Cedars. Now into the corner for Perkins. Noah going to drive to the baseline, kick to the corner. Campbell Duncan going to rise and fire. Campbell Duncan going to miss. 10-point game. It's 5 minutes to go. Paul with Cahosi trailing. Wonder to the elbow. He gets it off to Lee, and there is Cedars with a nice little lay-in. Jack Cedars up to 10 points in the game after he has back-to-back buckets. Now Perkins going to try the trailing 3. He's got it to go, and we have it. Foul underneath on whom? I believe the shot should count. This might be a loose ball foul on Anderson. 24? It might get Cedars here. Foul is on White. The 3 is good. So now a 9-point game, 4:57 to go, and Anderson should have possession again. And they do. Pops in with Mirswa, Gill, Duncan, and Schaefer. Cahosi, Purushothaman, Paul, Lee, and Canady in. We got 3 Canadys on this roster for Westlake. The one in right now is number 14, Andrew. Here's Campbell Duncan. Gets by one defender. Going to pull up at the block, and he's going to knock it in. Good floater for Campbell Duncan. 8 points in the game for him. So Anderson with a 5-point play. That's a big swing. Here's Paul driving in, kicks outside. Canady into the corner for Purushothaman. His 3-pointer's good. 5 points in the game for Max P. 26-16, excuse me. As here comes Gill. Right side. Schaefer looking for Duncan on the block. Move it back out for Gill. Jackson working back across the court. Spins. He's going to try and take it to the paint himself. Layup is good off the glass. Jackson Gill finding a way. 5 points in the game for Jackson. Now here come the Chaparrals. All the way to the cup. Max P can't get it to go. Mirswa had it, and it's ricochets out to Campbell Duncan. Now Campbell pushing. Had it poked away by Cahosi, and Campbell will wisely slow it down here. 18 points for the Trojans, 26 for Westlake. And now here's Jackson Gill with the ball. Schaefer, Paul defending. Owen puts it on the deck. Here's Pops. Pops gets it to Mirswa right there at the free throw line. Campbell Duncan going to try and take it at Cahosi. Paul took it away. Schaefer out of bounds. And Anderson will take it. Nice hustle play there by Gavin Paul, but nothing comes of it. 26-18, 3:30 to go. Lob into Mirswa. Soul. Campbell Duncan with it with Cahosi defending. Both those guys are big man, but they can definitely both operate out there in space like that. Campbell putting it on the floor. Off to Gill. Jackson shot fake, baseline, caught in the air. It's off to Donahue. He'll put it on the deck. Now it's him and Gill. Jackson going to step back for the 3, and that's good. Jackson Gill again from downtown. That's his second of the game. Anderson has it down to a 5-point game with 3 minutes to go here in half number 1. Gavin Paul up top to Cahosi. And that slow start, once again, really killing Anderson as here's Paul, a corner or a wing 3. It's no good. Off to Lee. Lee going to catch and shoot. That's good. Rattles it in. Donovan Lee's first basket of the game. I believe that leaves him as the only he was the only Westlake starter out of the scoring column. He's in it now, back up to an 8-point game. Anderson put themselves in a 10-0 hole. Now here's Donahue. Maybe got away with a walk there, able to get his own rebound. It's loose on the floor. Mirswa has it. Soul going to go up, no good. Soul can't get his own rebound. Cahosi has it, and Anderson going to foul. It's been a wacky game thus far. Because other than that 10-0 start, Anderson leads this game by 2. Fortunately, those 10 points do in fact count, and it's a 29-11 or 29-21 game. Purushothaman. Now Cahosi going right into the chest to Campbell Duncan. Campbell's drawn a charge once this game. Now off to Paul. Shakes, bakes all the way to the basket, lays it in. Gavin Paul 6 points in the game. It's back up to a 10-point deficit for Anderson. Under 2 minutes to go here in the half. Gill. Left side, looking for Campbell Duncan. Campbell finds Gill in the corner. Jackson, hot hand, going to try and keep it going. Can't there. Just a little short on that triple. 90 seconds to go in the game. Westlake outrunning. Paul going at Campbell Duncan will pull it back out. Looking for Cahosi in the post. Donahue fronting. Westlake working the ball around. Cahosie bumped off the block by Donahue, but they fell asleep on Paul backdoor. He'll have to take it back out. Open corner look here. Davis knocks it down. First bench points of the game for Westlake, but they come at a big time. Now 34-21, under a minute to go. Timer resets. Duncan lost it, and he's able to go backcourt to grab it. Now Campbell going to go right to the basket at Cahosie. Off balance, no good. Good defense there from Westlake. Now here they come running. It's Paul going right at Gill. Lost it going up. I don't think anyone touched it. Yep. Anderson had it down to as many as 5. Westlake has scored 8 since. It's now 34-21. But now 35 seconds left. An old school college shot clock amount of time left in the half. Skip pass. Hot potato. Look at that. 3-man trap. It's a bit of a zone here. Zone luck is Gill going to take a deep 3. That one rattles in and out. Donahue knocks it away, and it's going to stay here. May think that's a bad shot. It's not a bad shot for Gill. I was just thinking about how much basketball has evolved as Drew Mathis checking in for Gill. 12 seconds left. Now, any given player on the court has 25-foot plus range. So here's Mearswa, and they'll get him for a travel there. 10 seconds left for Westlake. See what they can do before the end of the half. 34-21, 8 seconds to go. Here's Paul, always picking up the pace. Fires the 3, just calls his own number, no good. Donahue has it. He's going to lob it ahead to Soul. Soul with a look at the bucket and maybe rushed it a little bit. Could have tried to get downhill, but pull-up jumper is no good. That is halftime. Now 34-21 is your score. As we will give you some shelter. 10 minutes of halftime up on the board. The Trojans trail it by 13 at the break. Jackson Gill and Campbell Duncan leading the way for your Anderson Trojans. They have 16 of their team's 21. They both have 8 points apiece. So the two seniors combining for 16. Noah Perkins has a 3, and Caden Williford has a basket of his own. So 2 points for him, 3 points for Perkins, and that is halftime for Westlake. Jack Cedars has 10, Cahosie has 7, Paul has 6, Max Purushathaman has 5, Lee has 3, and Hunter Davis canned 1 moments ago. He also has 3. But now, in about 9 minutes, we will be back for quarter number 3. For now, I want to thank our sponsor on the broadcast, Howery Breen and Herman Trial Attorneys. But now I'm going to go ahead and step aside. Got 10 minutes halftime. We'll be back in just a little bit. We'll have the sights and sounds of Westlake High School.
First off, you better remember what that sign say before you come down here in this bitch. Don't mess with Texas. Cause you know everybody around this bitch got guns. Hey, see y'all from Texas. We got Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and we can't forget that. Big shout out to the boys and I can't forget out from Texas. I've been feeling like the how I bought that shit a blessing. Number one rule in Texas, keep it solid, ain't no telling. Hey, and always keep your fucking weapon. A nigga trying to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. My notepad called many bodies. Screenshots saw plenty problems. Voice notes bag plenty hotties. Can't just talk to me like anybody. Can't just talk to me like anybody. Man, you know that I'm a somebody. And the baby bad, she got a drum body.
Well, coming back in from halftime, it's a tough schedule for Anderson to start this district run in 26-6A as they, 3 of their first 4 games in this schedule are against teams that made the playoffs last season. Of course, every year there's going to be a lot of turnover, but hard to imagine that those 3 teams in Buda, Johnson, Westlake, and Lake Travis aren't going to be there towards the end of the season with how they play. Trojans still not out of the break yet, 1:32 to go before we get started. Westlake back out onto the court getting some jumpers up. Running drills, they'll head back over to the bench. Starters already sitting on the benches. Here come the Trojans. In the away blues, McReynolds, number 1, the first out of the locker room. Now Trojans in a bit of a hole, have to dig themselves out to start this third quarter, 34-21. 4 made threes in the first half for your Trojans. Not usually one of their main strengths, but something they've leaned on tonight. Jackson Gill, of course, always trying to show off that range. They've also missed a couple pretty narrowly. And with an interior defense as good as Westlake, it's a good night to have a good shooting night for Anderson. We've seen that jump shot be pretty streaky from Campbell Duncan. He's 1 for 2, I believe, or 1 for 3 here tonight. But here we go, back out of the break. Make sure everything is up to date. Pretty good soundtrack here. All right, possession arrow says Anderson basketball. Both squads going to start or go back out with their starters to start the third quarter, as is customary. Duncan and Gill handling the inbound. McReynolds out there along with Williford and Perkins. Purushathaman defending Gill. Cahosi out there with Cedars, Paul, and Lee. Double comes on Gill. Jackson just tries to get it in, and Lee tipping that actually saved the possession for Anderson, as here's Campbell Duncan all alone on the other end. So some lucky rolls there for the Trojans. Gets them their first double-digit score of the game in Campbell Duncan. 34-23 now. Ball to Cedars. Going to try and back it in from the three-point line. Now Paul left open on the perimeter. His three-pointer on the way is Butter. Gavin Paul up to 9 points in the game. Westlake pushes their lead 37-23. Gill with it in the corner. Jackson puts it on the deck. In the air, tried to go cross court. That's out of bounds. Tipped off Paul into the hands of Perkins, so white ball. Lee Off the Paul. Looking inside to Cahosi. Back to the basket, working on Campbell. Spins baseline, lost it out of bounds. That's some good defense for Anderson. Good one-on-one D from Duncan. McReynolds off to Gill. Jackson looking for Campbell, who's trying to post up Cahosi. Off to Luke. Skip. Campbell going to flow into a three-pointer, and he's going to knock it down. That's his second of the game. Mentioned that coming back from halftime. The three-point shot is going to be important for Anderson here down the stretch. Kick to the corner for Lee. Now there's Paul, hit one moments ago. Looking for Cahosi, Gill defending him. Campbell Duncan there in the lane for help. Campbell going to try and come for Cahosi, and they get it off to Cedars, who's going to have to be fouled. That was Campbell's man back door. First team foul against Anderson. I believe free throws coming. Down to an 11-point game. Up and good. Cedars just a junior. It was 1 for 2. 11 points in the game for him as here's McReynolds pushing the pace for Anderson. Off to Campbell Duncan. Shot fake, puts it on the deck. Caught in the lane. Only off to get out. Perkins. 12-point game off to Gill. Jackson head fake. Off to Campbell Duncan. One dribble. No pull-up. Instead, he'll go with the lean through. Can't get it to go. Gets his own board. It's batted around and to the floor for Cahosi. Lee driving on the baseline. Going to pull up with one hand. No good. Cedars tap back is good. Nice finish for Jack Cedars. That's 40 now for Anderson. 40 to 26. Now here's Gill. Driving in. Just stayed off the baseline. Now Williford into the air. McReynolds. Perkins left open in the corner for three. Can't connect. Williford on the board. He's going to be blocked from behind by Cahosi. And running the other way are the Chaparrals. Lee. Off the Paul. He'll drive in. Pull up Jay. No good. Left it short. Rebound goes to Cedars. Timeout White. That is a full timeout for Coach Lucero and Westlake. Cedars up to 13 points. Paul behind him with 9. Cahosi there with 7. Max Purushothaman has 5. Still trying to figure out where the emphasis is on some of those syllables. Hunter Davis with 3 and Donovan Lee also with 3. Campbell Duncan has done all the scoring for the Trojans in this half. He's up to 13. Westlake it's a very big school, but they always have very deep teams. A lot of bodies on that bench. $18, I believe, players on the bench here for Westlake. As going into the backcourt, it is Paul. Now up top is Canady. Paul looking inside. Max P posting up. McReynolds' fade is good. Pretty jumper on Max Purushothaman. 7 points in the game for him. So here's Campbell Duncan, almost lost it, got it back. Productive game for him, and that one's going to go out of bounds off the hands of Gill, white ball. Let's adjust. 4:20 to go here in the third quarter. It's Lee. lobs it inside, and that's going to be a foul on Jackson Gill. Off the pass, that's the second team foul against the Trojans in the quarter. 4 minutes, 13 seconds to go. Paul goes to Lee, and that's going to be a backcourt violation. That is not a backcourt violation. You're allowed to go into the backcourt off an inbound. That one pass to Gill is off the mark and out and running. Here's Purushothaman all the way to the cup. Can't get the layup to go. Cahosi fighting on the offensive glass. Gets his own rebound. Can't get the follow, though. Lee had it. Lee lost it. Now Gill. Anderson didn't quite have numbers, but Gill going to take it all the way instead, and a foul is going to be called. He'll head to the line for 2 points. That's going to be the first, or 2 shots, excuse me. First team foul going against Westlake here in quarter number 3. $16-point game, 15-point game. Gill matches his total against Aikens with 9. Duncan out, 13 points for him. .28 in the game now for the Trojans as both free throws are good. That pushes Jackson into double figures. Now here's Paul, zips it cross court. Now another skip pass. Canady going to try the 3. That's no good. Perkins there on the rebound, was falling out of bounds, and he just gets it to Pops. Pops maybe tracked his pivot foot, but no call. As here comes Jackson looking for Perkins off the screen. It's not there. Instead, he'll try to attack. Kickoff to Williford in the corner, chasing him off the three-point line. Stops in the lane, going to try and get it off, and that's knocked away by a pair of Chaparral defenders. Now running is Paul all the way to the basket, up and under. Good, and one. Cedars checking back in for Cahosi, Mirzwa, and Duncan in, Williford and Perkins out. .45-28 now, the largest lead of the game for Westlake. Paul up to 12 points. Now Duncan back to the basket. Facing up. Pops, looking for Campbell Duncan inside, finds him. Campbell, couple dribbles, pulls up in the lane, knocks it in. He's got 15. The offense coming strongly tonight for Campbell Duncan, coming off a 22-point performance, so he's scoring the ball pretty well as of late. Purushothaman chased off the three-point line, but he'll get all the way to the basket unimpeded. He's up to 9 points in the game. Westlake up to 47. Now here's Pops. Off to Gill. Jackson to his left. Contact, no call. And here's Paul. Duncan chasing down, and he won't be able to get it. Here's Campbell Duncan. .49-30. Campbell, nice pass on the cut for Gill, but better defense by Cedars at the basket. Now here comes Paul, has had a really good third quarter. Crosses left, cut, and beauty of a pass into Cedars, and he repays him with the assist. 15 points in the game for Jack Cedars. Now Anderson trailing by over 20 points. Coming the other way, here's Campbell Duncan. Campbell loses his footing down to the floor, and we will have a jump ball that favors Westlake. Minute to go here in the third quarter, minute 10 to be exact. There's Davis into Cedars, Rickards defending. Get it off to Paul. Now Canady in the corner, his shot no good. Rebound goes to Cedars over everybody. Now left side, there's Davis going to try from three, no good. And pops on the foul. That's the fourth on Anderson, not the fifth. Under a minute to go. Into Canady. Now off to Davis. Looking inside for Cedars, pops defending. Couple dribbles, double comes. Good defense there from the Trojans, and he will just throw it away. Over and back. 39.86 seconds to go. I've always found it kind of funny that we go 2 decimal places when we're down under a minute on these high school scoreboards. So that one's knocked out of bounds off of White. Now 38.36 seconds to go. Extremely precise on the amount of time left in the quarter. Even the NBA doesn't do that. At least for the fans. As Schaefer trying to get it in, does find McReynolds. As Luke going to drive into the paint, kills his dribble. Now back outside, it's going to be tipped out and off of Anderson. 32 seconds to go. 32.67 to go. Now here's Paul going at Pops all the way to the basket. Runner no good. Rebound Cedars, and he's going to be fouled. These end of quarter scenarios. Cedars back to the line. Trojans in the bonus, or rather, Trojans have fouled Westlake into the bonus. That's a 17-point game so far for Jack Cedars. 53-30. Here comes Campbell Duncan. Ten seconds left as we have a foul. Just the second of the quarter for Westlake. Let's see if we can get to the buzzer here. Gill in, Schaefer out. It'll be McReynolds to inbound this thing. Into Rickards. And Miles looking for Gill. It's knocked away and another foul call. Gill gets it into Duncan. Hand off to Jackson. Jackson lost it going towards the basket. Rickards has it. And we are just going to let the quarter end there. So Anderson could have had the ball with a second to get a shot off on the jump ball, or it will just get the ball to start the fourth quarter. We'll go ahead and head to the fourth quarter with Anderson taking possession to start us off. Fouls will reset, which favors Anderson. 53-30 is your score. Anderson going to come back out here for the fourth quarter, try and get back into this thing a little bit. We'll go ahead and step aside. You are watching Anderson basketball on Vype, and we will be back in just 30 seconds. Quarter number 4. Starters out there for Westlake, except Gavin Paul is on the bench in favor of the freshman point guard, Powell Frickenschmidt. Frickenschmidt. It's one that might be my favorite name of the year so far. As this one knocked around and Purushothaman had it. It's off to Cahosi. Give and go to Cedars. Left it short on the rim. Now here comes Owen Schaefer pushing the pace for Anderson. Had it, lost it off to Mathis. Now Donahue left open on the perimeter. His three-pointer, no good. Rebound goes to Westlake. Now pushing the other direction. They've got a 4-on-5. Off to Lee in the corner. He'll put it on the ground. Spins. Good defense by Caden. Into Cahosi. Saraf defending, and I think they're going to get him for the whistle. Yep. Now pass inside to Cedars. Can't get it to go. Good feed, and Cedars able to save it somehow. It was going off of Anderson, but they get it to him. Now Cahosi with a little touch at the basket. Up and one. Quiet night for Wonder. He only has 9, but he's been a problem for Anderson nonetheless. Showing up in other areas of the box score. No good off back iron. Cedars got position. Anderson just doesn't have anybody to contend with that size right now, as here's Lee on the perimeter. Pass inside. Cedars going right at Saraf. His leaner no good. Cahosi on the rebound will pull it back out. Minute gone in the quarter. Lee with Donahue defending. Now Cahosi spins baseline. Double comes. Gets the basket. Cahosi up to 11, Westlake up to 57. Trojans rocking the bench unit here. Westlake still largely keeping their starting unit out there. Here's Saraf, gets it back, now off to Mathis. Mathis swings to the corner for Schaefer. Schaefer to Mathis, off to Donahue. He'll try again from a similar position. Tried to kiss it off the glass, no good. Williford on the rebound, and lob out for Mathis. Drew, corner. Anderson doing a good job moving the ball around, not settling for a shot, and there it is. Schaefer cutting backdoor, beat everybody as Owens got his first bucket of the game. Anderson up to 32. There's Frickenschmidt. He's driving in on Mathis, loses his footing, but that's due to a bump. Landon Monroe into the game. Cahosi still out there, as is Lee and Purushothaman. Lee all the way to the cup, gets it to go. That's Donovan Lee's second make of the game. Mathis. Off to Donahue. Drew driving on Cahosi. It's a tough task for anybody. Pass inside, good cut, good find. Wow, how about that? Some show and go. Some flashiness from this Anderson offense. Saraf with a great find to Mathis inside. Mathis with an even better dish inside to Williford. Caden's got 4. And Schaefer gambling a little bit there. And Blake Canady into the game, one of the sophomore Canadys on the roster. Him and Joel. There's Powell Frickenschmidt to the cup, no good. Mathis has it. He's draped by some defenders. Staying alive in space. Nifty handle as here's Donahue back outside. Trailing triple on the way, no good for Caden. Hand off to Monroe. Getting downhill off to Cahosi. Now Wonder looking inside. Fadeaway J is good. Timeout, White. 61-34, just a 30-second timeout. The Trojans are already out of fouls to give in the quarter. Westlake losing to Lake Travis to start their district slate by a total of 12. They beat Del Valle pretty handily. Now, this Friday, Westlake will go on the road to Dripping Springs, where Anderson will be playing host to Lake Travis. Remember the last time Anderson played Lake Travis at home, they beat them. And what was maybe the most exciting win of the year for Anderson. A huge win to keep them alive in postseason contention. Here's McReynolds. Kick to the corner. Miles Rickard's going to try the three. He's going to knock it down. Some pop off the bench for Miles Rickards. Powell frickin' Schmidt off to Landon Monroe. As there's Miles Rickards had it and lost it. It was frickin' Schmidt, but he'll be doubled. Perkins trying to take it away. Frickin' Schmidt into the open court, dish off, and a lay-in for number 50, Evan Brolsma. Halfway through the fourth. Here's McReynolds. Was looking for Perkins. Now off to Rickards. Rickards going to try again from three. He's going to knock it down. Hot hand off the bench for Miles Rickards. He's hit back-to-back threes for the Trojans. It's now 63-40. Butler. Kick to the corner for Monroe. He'll drive in, kick outside. Canady working on Perkins. Noah 3 points in the game. Maybe got away with one there. Frickin' Schmidt going to lose the ball, and going to get a foul from the far official. And that'll be free throws. As the freshman guard, Powell frickin' Schmidt to the line. As there's Rickards on the rebound, trying to push the pace. Killed his dribble. He's going to skip it off to Perkins. Perkins maybe had Rickards there at the basket for a second. McReynolds had it poked free. Now Luke getting an opportunity to run some point here with this bench unit. Had it poked away from behind, and a foul called against Westlake. Looking for a cutting Rickards. Not there at the basket, but he'll take one dribble towards the hoop and instead kick it out to Perkins. Noah caught in the air, got the layup to go. Nice finish at the basket for Noah Perkins, who's got 5 in the game. The lead is down to 22 for Westlake with 2.5 to play. Bench time here at Westlake High School. Frickin' Schmidt pass inside to Monroe. Can't get the dunk, but he will have 2 free throws. Up and good for Monroe. Two for two. Here's Rickards. Off to Mearswa. Miles looking to post up inside. Now off to McReynolds. Stepping back. Off to Rickards. He'll put it on the deck. Gets it off to Pops. Pops going to try his shot at it. No good. Well, rather no shot attempt. Mearswa with it outside now. Perkins and cherry picking. Later. As McReynolds loses it again. .90 seconds to go. Off to Rickards. Rickards caught in the air. Leaner, no good. Mearswell on the board. Soul going to go up with it. Can't get it to go. Rebound loose and into the hands of Westlake. Perkins got back, but all the way to the cup and good is Alex Allen. As a pass ahead to Mearswell. Soul going to try and take it one-on-one. Spins, off balance, jumper, no good. Perkins going to be fouled on the loose ball. Try and get Rickards open for a three-pointer. He's made 2 already. Perkins, dribble to the corner. Pops. There's Rickards. He'll try another 3. Can't get this one to go. Mearswell there on the rebound. Soul put one dribble down. He'll go up with it, no good. Mearswell going to get his own miss. It's loose on the floor, and Westlake with it with 42 seconds to go. Off to Monroe. We'll see what Westlake tries to do. Is Frickenschmidt going to drive in, loses his footing to the floor, as here's Pops. Lob into Mearswell. Soul gets it to go. So Mearswell on the board in the waning seconds here, under 20 seconds to go, and I imagine that will be our final score here at 70-44. As that will do it, 5 seconds up on the clock. Anderson will drop to 1-2 in district play. Westlake will improve to 2-1. As we look ahead to the next game, Anderson will be playing on this Friday, the 15th, against Lake Travis. Should be a fun one. A lot of good talent on that Lake Travis team. Of course, Hudson Greer, the big standout on that team. Go ahead and take you through some stats. Campbell Duncan with 15. Jackson Gill had 10 for your Trojans. 6 in the game for Miles Rickards, who showed some pop-up there off the bench. Who, every time I say his name, I feel like I'm about to get it wrong. But Miles Rickards, good game off the bench for him. Showed some flashes. Noah Perkins had 5. 4 in the game for Caden Williford. Mearswell and Owen Schaefer both had 2 in that fourth quarter. But with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank you for tuning into the broadcast. Always a pleasure to be back with you here on Vype. And for all of us here at Vype Media, our technical director, Suna Venkat, making everything possible, helping me out with some technical issues pregame. For all of us here at Vype, I'm Jack Farrell. Signing off now, wishing you a great night, a great rest of your week, and we will be able to kick off your weekend with some more Trojan hoops. That'll be an 8 p.m. tip-off from the Madhouse on Mesa, where Anderson will go ahead and take on the Lake Travis Cavaliers. They drop a tough one, got into a big hole to start it, and were never quite able to dig themselves out. Made it a close game in the second, but Westlake able to pull away here down the stretch. Final score 70-40.